In this mini documentary, we're going to look at Barbie, where she got her beginning, and it's going to be highly entertaining. And so, for the people that are into Barbie, please stick around. So, we're going to go right here. This movie Barbie that's coming out. Okay. It's, it's got all the great actors and actresses, the newest and latest and greatest. Okay. And so let's before we go through the crew and get behind the scenes, let's see Barbie and where she began. Barbie was the brainchild of Ruth Handler, co-founder of the toy company Mattel. Inspired by watching their daughter play with a make-believe paper doll, they realized that there was a niche market, an unfilled niche in the market. Comes down to money. It always comes down to money. For a toy that allowed little girls to imagine the future. Barbie's appearance was modeled after a doll named Build Lily, which had been inspired by a German comic strip character, originally marketed as a racy gag gift that men could buy in tobacco shops. Well, let's look at the doll. Let's look at Build Lily. Okay, Build Lily there was comic strips about her. Okay, and she was a prostitute, a whoremonger. Now, as I'm getting into this, I want you to understand something. My mother was a great mother, and my parents, growing up, she was great. And my parents got a divorce about the age of 7, 8. I ended up living with my mom on the streets with my brothers, my 3 brothers, for 3 years. At the end of those 3 years, I find out, because my dad got custody of us, I found out that my mom was being a prostitute. She ended up dying a very bad, brutal death. So I can talk about these things because I know these things. I know I'm trying to reach out to parents and people that are out there, and anybody that'll hear me, spread out this message to wake you guys up, because I don't want any child, I don't want anybody to go through pain. I don't want little children to grow up and become parents and put their children through pain, and then they have the pain. And because let's just get through this. Barbie is a prostitute. The original design here, this was the original design, Lily. Okay? Some more comic strips of her. Now, we're going to listen to a famous song called Barbie Girl, Barbie. And a lot of people might know this. And it was just flat out in your face telling you what everybody already knows. So she's saying, I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. It's fantastic. I'm plastic. You can play with me. Ken is talking about we will have hanky-panky, undress me. Anybody will tell you, any little kid will tell you, most of them will tell you, they all undressed the doll. They all were like, why do we have a naked doll? Okay? What you're going to find out is that the people in charge, the people that make the movies, that fund them, the people that have really just funded the system that we're in, they are perverts. They like to entice lust into children at a young age so that they can do harmful things to them. And Barbie dolls, and the new movie that's coming out is part of that. And I'm going to show you how dark it is. These people here, this is a Freemasonic lodge. These people here, they make the movies that your children watch. And the toys that you guys play with, okay? So, There we go, doing their strip tease. Now, anybody can go look at this, and they can find all this to be exactly true, okay? So the Freemasons and higher-ups in the high echelons of the Jewish religion, Zionism, and of all religions, because they're all Freemasons, they put together all this junk because it destroys the mind of the cattle, their cattle, that they can then control for the rest of their lives. The Pope talks about this in the Catechism, in the Catholic Catechism. This is how pure and innocent children's mind, how precious their minds are. That's why you have to protect them. That when a child goes through the classes and gets the catechism or whatever, the award that the Catholic Church gives them so that they can partake in the communion, once they get through that, the Pope admits, and in their own writings, you have that child forever because you've brainwashed them. Here's what I'm going to say. I am a sinner, a horrible sinner, and only because of the grace of God and him forgiving me am I able to talk to you about these things, because I don't think about these things. It's horrible stuff. So I'm not judging anybody reading this, and I just love you. So when they continue to ask Jesus Christ, he lifted himself and said unto them, he's talking about the scribes and the Pharisees who want to stone Mary Magdalene, a woman caught in adultery. They want to stone her to death. This is what Jesus Christ tells the scribes and the Pharisees. He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. I could die a million times over. Okay? I'm just warning the people out there and pleading with them to follow Christ and do the right thing. So Mattel, people think, oh, Barbie, no big deal. It's just Mattel. So what if they got their prototype doll from, it doesn't matter. Well, this is Mattel now. This is Mattel trying to sell confusion to children.
Barbie and Ken have been a couple for 57 years, but one same-sex couple in Arizona might be shaking up the doll world with a meeting they are having with Mattel this week.
Yeah, so Matt Jacoby and Nick Caprio, who have been together for 12 years, are getting married next year, and their 8-year-old niece is very excited, but unfortunately there was no wedding doll set with 2 grooms. So here's the news report from WFLA.
They've always been with us, and they only know that Uncle Nick loves Uncle Matt, and Uncle Matt loves Uncle Nick.
So last weekend, the couple started shopping for Natalie's 8th birthday. They were hoping to find a doll wedding set.
We wanted it to be meaningful.
First of all, this is not natural. Anybody knows, and everybody, it's proving with money. People are showing it with their money. I'm going to get into that. This is not natural. They're not wanting this.
And we wanted it to somehow be connected to our wedding.
But the only wedding set they could find, Ken and Barbie.
You just look at it from your perspective, and you just realize that it's not connecting to us.
So Matt and...
I'm not going to talk about the rest of that, but first of all, they wanted to get some dolls to represent their marriage. They won't, okay. And then they said that we couldn't find anything that represented us. Listen, if a male and a female, it's just biological. That's just the way it is. There's very, 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 very rare circumstances where things happen, but it's extremely rare. And all of a sudden, because these people, they want to live this lifestyle now, they're forcing everybody who wants to live the biological, natural lifestyle. They're forcing us to. So, how many other people, if I don't feel like maybe Mattel should have animals and humans, bestiality, I mean, maybe because there's bestiality and there's stuff going on that people are getting it's getting sick. Wait till virtual reality happens and people can Actually, I made a documentary on this. Here, let's go to this. Okay, you watch this, parents. If you watch this and you're like, what's going on? Watch how sick it will get. The future of AI Antichrist. It's going to be taught about the world of lawlessness, the rise of the Antichrist. People are going to be able to plug in to these machines and video games. They're already doing it in video games, murdering people. But what if when the first person view and have all the senses wrapped up in a persona where they can kill or do horrible things like pedophile stuff to children, what they're already talking about in video games, saying, oh, they should do it. It's no big deal. Just like, you know, if you try to stop them from murdering in video games, you take away the gameplay. Let them do it. So they're talking about these things already, people. Let's get back to Barbie. The largest study, they're creeping into the home because they want the child. They want to sacrifice the child. Largest study to date confirms an overlap between autism and gender diversity. People who do not identify with the same sex they were assigned at birth are 3 to 6 times as likely to be autistic. It's because these communist Marxists and plutocratic socialists, the men in charge that let Hitler and ushered him into power, they want to destroy society because they want to be kingpin forever. Kings and queens forever. And so they're bombarding with people with confusion and destroying minds. They don't want births. That's why they're killing children and they're doing things that are confusing them. So why is it that they're creating a huge group of people that don't understand what's going on and they're creating this confusion? Why are they doing this? Well, it's because Satan's behind it all. Satan is hurting people and he's going to use as many people as possible until you stand up and people stand up and say enough. This is from an educational facility here. It is, American Psychological Association, Developmental Psychology. Does Barbie make girls want to be thin? This was a study of 162 girls from ages 5 to 8 exposed to two different dolls, okay? One Barbie doll and one just regular, called an Emma doll, and it just was a regular doll, nothing sexy about it. Just a doll, as opposed to a Barbie doll. That is not, it's not even natural. It's an abnormal figure. So, let's just skip down to the very bottom, the conclusion. Okay? For the layman like me, the people that don't, you skip down to the bottom, they'll tell you. Okay. The present findings support a direct influence phase of dolls as aspirational role models and therefore have theoretical implications for understanding how social cultural influences impact children's self-evaluation and consequently their developing self-concept. Meaning it's highly impactful on a child, and with peer pressure, things can get crazy. These dolls highlight the need to encourage dolls such as Emmy. Currently, here we go. We hope the present findings emphasize the need for further research on the impact of fashion dolls and other social cultural sources of body ideals on girls, both to advance the understanding of how body image develops and, well, let's just say that after all their hoopla, we need to study more because it's destroying minds. And we're going to get right into that with how pedophiles use the things that are being put in media and now with new technology, hunting down people and killing them and creating and hurting more children because parents aren't watching them. So let's go but before we get into that, let's go right to the director of Barbie, okay? Greta Gerwig. Greta, I pray that the Lord Jesus Christ gets a hold of you and you stop doing this. We're going to look into her filmography, okay? And the one that she's famous for that blew her career up is this Lady Bird. Let's watch the trailer for Lady Bird. This is going to give us an insight into what Barbie's going to be about.
I hate California. I want to go to the East Coast.
First of all, that film company in the documentaries, here we go, right? Oh, bodies, bodies, bodies. Here we go. Okay. This is one of their horror films that they're making, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Go check that one out. See how sick and sadistic those people are.
California. I want to go to the East Coast.
I want to go where culture is, like
How
New
in the
York,
world did I raise such a
or at least
snob?
Connecticut or New Hampshire, where writers live in the
Get
woods.
into those schools anyway. Mom, you should just go to City College. You know, with your work ethic, just go to City College and then to jail, and then back to City College, and then maybe you'd learn to pull yourself up and not expect everybody to do everything.
So what's that about? When I'm not going to harp on this because in the documentaries that I've done, you'll see this if you're interested in watching more. It is normalizing the childish and immaturity that's going on in our society. It's to normalize it and make it funny. So that when children do scream and they holler, parents that have, I can't remember what the syndrome is, but they want the attention so bad. Munchausen syndrome. They want Munchausen syndrome so bad that they'll create a sickness or a disease for their child, like say that they're autistic when they're really not. They just might be shy, and then that child's going to believe that they're autistic. I mean, do you understand the mental illness that's being created by these people and the parents that won't stop this cycle? And so they're just making it funny, trying to normalize it.
Lady Bird is
enough.
We're afraid of what the future will bring. We're afraid we won't be loved.
You can't do anything unless you're the center of attention.
We won't be liked.
Yeah, well, you know your mom's tits, they're totally fake. She made one bad decision at 19. Two bad decisions.
And we won't succeed.
I want you to be the very best version of yourself that you can be.
I didn't show you the rest. I didn't show you some of the, but basically she starts sleeping around. Her mom's like, "Are you sleeping?" And she's like I don't know how old, 16-year-old girl, and starts sleeping around and, and having relations. And the man's like, "Oh, you're going to be sleeping not with only me, but many other people." And just this horrible stuff. And they're trying to make it funny. And that's the movie that this woman's going to be making, the Barbie. Here's another movie that she made.
Hi, this is Tracy Fishko. I go to college in the city, and my mom said I should call you. My mom is marrying your dad.
Do you want to hang out? Do you know where Times Square is?
Tracy!
Times Square is so crazy.
Isn't it?
I don't know anyone who lives here.
Yours truly. I got off the bus from Jersey. I thought this was the cool place to live. It's Times Square.
It's so stylish.
I know. I freelance as an interior decorator. You know the Bowery Hotel?
Oh my God, yeah.
Well, if you walk about a block south, there's a...
What are you selling?
So many things.
Being around her was like being a nothing.
You don't know what you're selling. No one will know how to buy it.
What are you selling?
So many things.
Being around her was like being in New York City.
I'm an autodidact. Do you know what that means?
Yes.
That word is one of the things I self-taught myself.
People incoherently yelling at me and my husband about how we had ruined your life. And the time before that, you were throwing up at my wedding.
Are those my cats?
They all love you. You're the good man.
Once again, normalizing the crazy behavior. Now here is the actress that's going to be playing the Barbie, the head Barbie doll. Beautiful gal, okay? Beautiful gal. Let's look at her filmography. Babylon. Wow, Babylon. It's a new movie that's going to be coming out. It's about 1930s when film started being produced. I think it was in 1934s, 1933, 1935. When films were just being produced, they were black and white. Well, then when they started becoming colorized and having other elements put into the film that they could use, like graphics, all kinds of things, they would then put all kinds of crazy stuff out there. Now, what I'm going to show you here is proof that they interject poison into the home and into cities to destroy them so that they can take over the people's minds, like an alien invasion, like a nuke bomb going off, and all the parasites get in the heads and they take over. And then people have the television in their home, and they make sure that's the aliens' food. Just watching that, put in the Borg and hypnotism, so that they can feed it information. Anyway, so she's in this movie Babylon, and the movie's about 3 years of film just being filthy before MPAA, the Motion Picture Association of Ratings or something like that, and before they start giving rating R's and stuff. Well, now you look, G-rated, PG, PG-13. It used to be PG-13. You might have heard you might have heard some things are considered could be, retard, for instance. You might hear that. Now, they slip it by and go, you can say an F word in a movie. PG-13, you can say an F word in it now. On television, it used to be that they couldn't have blood, and it was very censored. Now, they have Walking Dead, and they have people getting their heads blown off. Right there. You just flip the television. If your child's walking by and you flip the television and it's the wrong channel by chance, and they will be forever traumatized. Do you understand how simple and fragile the mind is? This is a movie that she's in, that she's and it's very telling. Right at the end, I'm going to pause it, and she talks about catharsis. These filmmakers know exactly what they're doing. These psychologists know exactly what they're doing to hurt your mind, to brainwash you.
Can I help you?
Why, yes, you can. I'm here to report a terrible crime.
And what terrible crime is that?
This one. Ah, shit. I told this all wrong. Quick history lesson. This all started when the Joker and I broke up. It was completely mutual.
Now, Joker is especially, Joker is looked at as the anti-hero, culture hero of our time right now, because the world's falling apart, and Joker wants to destroy the system that is right now, that is destroying Arkham City, destroying everything, and he wants to become the dictator. And so Joker is this woman's husband. She broke up with him. Okay, so
And soon enough, I was back on my feet, ready to embrace the fierce goddess within.
She's talking about the fierce goddess within her. Okay?
It's so quiet. Now that I cut ties with Mr. J, I'm about to learn that a lot of people want me dead. All alone. And at the top of that list is this guy. And so peaceful. But it turns out that wasn't the only dame in Gotham looking for emancipation.
So what do we learn there, parents, that their children are watching? You learned there that a woman, that it's okay to snap. It's okay to get angry. Listen, I have an anger issue. I know that. A lot of men do. Anger issue. A child snaps. That taught you that it's okay to snap, one. And that number two, what else did it, let's see here. What was the other one? Oh, that it's cool to be hated. That it's cool to be hated.
Top of that list. And you're dumb enough to be building a case against him. So, unless we all want to die very unpleasant death, we're gonna have to work together. Sure. Psychologically speaking, vengeance rarely brings the catharsis we hope for. Yeah. Are we ready? You blow! Psychologically speaking, vengeance rarely brings the catharsis we hope for. Yeah. Are we ready?
Psychologically speaking, vengeance rarely brings the catharsis we're looking for. Catharsis is a terminology that was used by Aristotle to break down psychology of human beings, what makes them respond to anything. And catharsis is when you create a story, for instance, the crescendo of the story, the catharsis, the emotional crescendo of the story, anybody will believe it and be in suspended belief and believe whatever's in that catharsis, okay, whatever's in that thought, because whether the person is a serial killer or a saint, as long as the story is appealing, they'll believe it. So and then she goes, and then she snaps and goes right back into her multiple personality. They're just laughing in front of you. So this is the writer. Okay, here's the writer. Let's look at his filmography here a little bit, and let's see if there's any similarities to what I just spoke about.
Youth is wasted on the young.
I'd go further. I'd go, life is wasted on people.
I'm going to rewind that. Listen what he says. Life is wasted on people. These people secretly hate.
Youth is wasted on the young.
I'd go further. I'd go, life is wasted on people.
It's sort of like how they say that other dimensions exist all around us, but we don't have the ability to perceive them. That's what I want out of a relationship.
I maybe like my...
It doesn't even make sense what they're talking about. They hate people, and then they gobbledygook. I want to know all dimensions of a relationship. Just follow what God's plan is. What are you talking about?
My father, but I am not like my mother.
You are! And you're like my father. You're also like my mother. You're all the bad things about all of these people.
So how will you split evenly with 7 days?
So then it's very funny. There's natural things that come with this that's funny. It's comedy. But let me just explain to you how the mind works. So my wife and I love my wife. We have the most amazing relationship. I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, for her. She's amazing. And so, she's got traits of her mother, just like I got traits of my dad and my mother. Okay, so it's natural. And plus, we learn these things in our home. Okay? And so that is a very funny scene. But what's happening is that with these movies and these comedies, they normalize this. Okay, just be aware.
Oh, I've got you Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, and every other Thursday.
With 7 days.
Things about all... You're also like her.
Father, but I am not like my mother.
You are! And you're like my father. You're also like my mother. You're all the bad things about all of these people.
So how will you split evenly with 7 days?
Oh, I've got you Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, and every other Thursday.
So that's what this guy is. He doesn't like anything. Okay, he doesn't like things. Doesn't like humans. Thinks it's funny to show hatred. White Noise, he's making this movie, okay? White Noise dramatizes a contemporary American family's attempts to deal with the mundane conflicts of everyday life while grappling with the universal mysteries of love, death, and the possibility of happiness in an uncertain world. Mocking Christ, mocking everything. Let me make... So in this documentary, I'm going to show you here, okay, real quick, in the rest of this, American Family, they want to destroy it by creating conflicts. Okay? Having a home with diligent work for everybody and an organized home is a great thing. It's a peaceful thing. They want conflict. They want drama. They want their movies to be shown in your home, and they want your little girl to dress up as Barbie and then to cry when you take her things away from her. And to say that she hates you. Give me more sparkly goodies. And then you go to Walmart or whatever and to buy more stuff. Go to Target, buy more stuff. Things are changing. We're going to get into that. And I pray to God that, just wake people up. Tell the truth. In the movie Salem's Lot and the mini documentary, I should say, go watch these things. All of it is just information. I'm just looking at the research and telling you guys all what's happening. And here it proves to you about going into families and community and destroying them, just like the vampires in Salem's Lot, how they destroy that city. They want to do it with the propaganda. And in Black Adam, it's mocking the Bible. Okay? The reason why these children are turning out, and these parents, and they're turning out to hate each other and have a confusing house and drama. Okay, right here. A prudent man foreseeth evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Don't pass on. We're going through some hard times here soon. Actually, right now, but it's going to be 10 to 15 years of hard work. Don't pass on. Don't get punished. By humility and fear of the Lord are riches and honor in life. Thorns and snares are in the way of the froward. He that doth keep his soul shall be far from them. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. That's what's going on. Children are being trained in a very young age where to go. And as they get older, they're going right to where they have been taught to go. That film I was talking to you about, the Babylon, the movie that's going to be coming out next year, where the films, okay, Elvis was one of the biggest. It was the devil in disguise. And I know people like to go, oh, the parents, they just made a hoopla about these things. Wait till I read you some of the things that have been unearthed about Elvis. See, it's little things that sneak in, little things. Elvis being a handsome dude, shaking his pelvis and doing sexual moves on stage. Perverts the children just a little bit, and it breaks and fractures the home. Or movies and movies and entertainment, books, filth, which I talk about in these other documentaries that you need to go watch. Okay? Elvis loved very young girls. This is what his friend said. He was fascinated with the idea of real young teenage girls. It scared the crap out of us. Toddlers, tiaras, and pedophilia, the borderline child pornography embraced by the American public. This is a subscription-based resource of legal journals, government documents. Okay? Wearing tiny shorts and cut off bearing her midriff, Candy is coached to shake her booty and work it. Everything naturally beautiful about Cindy is gone. She has fake hair, fake everything. And when the curtain rises, she goes right into her sexy policeman and cowgirl, policewoman, cowgirl, and whatever, schoolgirl stuff. Okay? Child beauty pageants started to become the target of increased controversy, the middle paragraph, and media scrutiny after the murder of beauty queen JonBenet Ramsey, as night after night, news networks aired videotapes of her playing the role of an alluring... This is a child. Go look out in the world and find out how many children are it's like, I just... my wife... Anyway, it's just like, wake up. What are you doing? Playing the role of a kitten. Okay, CBS anchorman Dan Rather criticized the networks, claiming the tapes amounted to nothing more than kiddie porn. This is JonBenet. Okay, this is the little girl that had no hope in the world. Her parents threw her right into the lion's den, and then when she got murdered, instead of people going, how... They cried. They didn't take it seriously.
And now to a Daily Mail TV exclusive, JonBenet killer confession. 22 years after the little pageant princess was found strangled to death in her parents' basement, the murder of JonBenet Ramsey remains one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries. But now we're learning yet another man claims that he committed the gruesome crime. In a series of letters exclusively obtained by Daily Mail TV, convicted pedophile Gary Oliva says he killed the 6-year-old and claims that it was all an accident.
And I get this terrifying phone call. He's screaming, "I heard a little girl." It was shock. It was pure shock.
Michael Vale recalls the early morning phone call he received from his former high school pal, Gary Oliva. It was...
So he says that he didn't do it. Lies. I didn't do it. I didn't mean to do it. What were you... Do you understand? This guy is... And then what is he doing in the home? In life, people are figuring it out. Let's just say that.
Colorado.
We were kidnapping. Hurry, please.
That was the same day Patsy Ramsey would make her own frantic call to 911. Notes he has a series of disturbing letters from convicted pedophile Gary Oliva that he believes may solve the mystery of JonBenét's death once and for all.
JonBenét completely changed me and removed all evil from me. Just one look at her beautiful face, her glowing beautiful skin, and her divine God body. I let her slip and her head bashed in half, and I watched her die. It was an accident.
That's enough. This is the stuff coming out because not enough people and their money, or not enough people being active, has said enough about what's happening in the world. So this is the kind of entertainment that's coming out.
This is a reality show produced by Tyra Banks and revolving around 5 child crossdressers as they prepare for a big drag show in Denver, which invites, quote, teen queens, kings, and non-binary performers ages 8 to 18. Now, the children featured on the Discovery Plus show seem to run that age gamut from very young to simply young, and all of them, of course, too young to be involved in the liberal West version of Baka Bazi. Discovery released a trailer for this abomination on Friday. The comments, if you go to YouTube, are disabled. I wonder why. You can actually see why they're disabled when you watch the clip. Let's watch this.
Welcome to the Pink Palace, my lovely friends.
I first discovered drag at 13. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I wanted it.
Little children, little children, little children, they're doing this too. This is how bad it's gotten to where this writer, who I don't know what happened in the ward and what happened to this person, but let's just say that this is something that goes on in America because the society's breaking apart. And so to defend the crazy stuff that's being put out there, they have somebody who's a very confused person writing this article that I'm about to read. And with therapy and the things that go on and the suggestive therapy where they can literally put somebody in a half-sleep state and explain to them that you're a god, you're this, that, the other, or whatever. They did this to Adolf Hitler, it's said. Okay? And it will transform them. In fact, I know this to be true. They have therapists and people will buy tapes where they'll say, stop smoking, and give them the suggestion, and people will stop smoking. So let's just read this article that's published by The Atlantic to defend pedophilia in movies. Don't judge the writer. Just read it. Let's just read it. In 1989, when I was 5, I spent several weeks in a children's psychiatric ward. My father, who began abusing me 3 years earlier, sexually abusing me, was outraged by hospitalization because he feared I'd become perverted by listening to all the sex talk from the counselors. A social worker told him I'd been admitted because of some of my new behavior, acting out toward kindergartners, making comments about my private parts and theirs, telling my mom I was going to kill myself before laughing uncontrollably. What was in their home? What was going on? That's not learned stuff. I mean, that is learned stuff. That's not natural stuff. I have a few memories of that treatment, and then they go on and on. She goes on and on and on, or he or she. And I thought of how worried the film's critics were that showing young girls discovering their own selves would whet their appetites, and threaten young lives. I thought of how pedophiles were cowards who relied on secrecy and shame their victims feel to act in the first place. To say that cuties enable sexual abuse is to miss the point of the film. This is what I'm saying. Don't judge the writer. This person is very confused, gone through therapy. You don't know what's going on in the person's mind. The fact that they're publishing this, and then there's studies proving that what I'm telling you is correct. This movie brings a rare vision of girlhood to light and the posit of sexual exploitation. These are little children, little like 6-7-year-olds or whatever, and all its discomfort. This is So in the documentary Traveling America in Search of the Truth, we talk with a couple of girls. We were just walking by doing interviews, and they were getting ready to have sex in the brushes of where we were at, and they were witches, and they ended up doing an interview. So in this documentary, I go through everything I'm talking about. It condenses all of like just the understanding of all of what I'm talking about into like 2.5 hours. And people say that it's one of the best documentaries they've seen. So this is from that, and I implore you to go watch that if you want more information.
I am agnostic, and I believe that ghosts exist, and I love crystals and Ouija boards just because I'm gay, and I think it's really fun to just... That's why I believe it. I believe I have a soul, and I don't know what's going to happen. Either I'm going to die a soul, like my soul's going to die, or I'm going to go float around somewhere else. Who knows?
What is startling is that this is not the first time an atheist has said they are a Satanist or has fun saying they are a Satanist.
Satan is earthy. Satan is the adversary. Satan is the questioner. And if there's one symbol in all of Western culture that stands for the opposition to all of the belief structures.
He shares our fall from the Garden of Eden because of our pride, because of our resistance to God. Our job as Satanists is to question all things, is to challenge every scapegoat.
So he said, I'm going to make a religion based on Satan, where it's a human religion. It's one based on these earthy principles.
It's just science over superstition. That people are waking up.
You know, we look at the human species as being animals like all the rest. We don't see us as being separate.
You hear that? They think of people like animals. Children like animals. 1 Peter 4:8, and above all things have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins. That's how this is all defeated. This is how it's defeated. Charity. Have open arms. Let these people know that you love them and that you don't judge them. You judge what they're doing, but you as a soul, as a person, and you try to break through that person with love, but also with keep your distance and be stern. But you know what I'm saying. The mature Christians understand. And charity, reach out to them, let them know that you're there for them. It's wrong what they're doing, and they know that it's wrong, and a lot of them are waking up. And the autistic children anyway, that is what is going to turn it around. So now people are waking up. Let's look at Netflix. Let's look at their stock, okay? It is plunging. It's not just because of COVID and all the things that made their stock soar. What's happening, people are waking up. They're unsubscribing. Okay? Netflix is losing long-term subscribers because people are waking up to this. Not enough people. These companies, Netflix and whatnot, they need to go down. Everybody else that is a good format for your family, okay. But these things, they need to go. Target Corporation, they push LGBTQ like crazy. They're plunging. Okay? People aren't buying their stuff. The pendulum swings in retail. Target, other big chains now have too much stuff on hand. They are slicing their prices down, trying to get people to buy nobody's buying. You know why? Because they promote LGBTQ and all this stuff in their stores. Nobody wants it. Here's Barnes & Noble. Same thing with Barnes & Noble. It's plunging. Nobody wants these books. Follow Christ. Go back to Christ. Same thing with Walt Disney and Disney Co. They're losing a lot of subscribers. Disney lose millions of subscribers. Okay? They lost 2 million subscribers. And then they go, well, no, we're fine. We have we got 8 million new subscribers this month, but, it's just, well, you know why? Because they're sitting there giving their stuff away. Telling people, promoting this. Think about what I'm about to show you. Think about when they're showing this. They have people that sit down selling Dish TV networks, all the gift cards in Walmart, all the gift cards and all these different stores, all the televisions that are out there. Think about this. Now, Disney says, well, we have 8 million new subscribers, but it's not growing like we really want to because they have to be honest to their investors. Okay, but they like to a lot of BS as well. These 8 million subscribers are coming from avenues like people getting gift cards, okay, asking for gift cards, things like that. Asking for Verizon, okay, getting Verizon, okay, different mobile networks, Amazon Music. You subscribe to Amazon Music, you get free Disney Plus. You subscribe, hear this, that, you get free Disney Plus. How many subscribers do you think they get from that? Xbox Game Pass Unlimited subscription, okay? People, wake up. We're very powerful. Put on the full armor of Jesus Christ. John 10:9. For those who are watching this, you're like, what is going on with this crazy man? It's interesting what he's saying. What's going on? Watch more investigative documentaries. Watch more videos on the channel. The power of prayer, God's miracles. It's all real, what I'm telling you. You don't need hocus pocus, abracadabra, Harry Potter, all that. You don't need any of that. You don't need Barbie telling your child that if they're not this, that, or the other, they're not normal. You don't need those things. You need love. You need diligent work. You need care. And I'm telling you that your children are you don't want their mind to be polluted. Jesus Christ is the door. By him. Jesus Christ is the door. By me, if any man enter, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture and peace. Oh, and peace. I'm telling you the peace. The thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I'm showing you who's trying to kill your children and destroy your family. James 2:25. Likewise also was not Rahab the harlot justified by works when she had received the messengers and had sent them out another way? Rahab is the great-great-great-grandmother of Jesus Christ and King David. She was a prostitute. Go look up the story of Rahab. It's a great story. Jesus Christ has powerful women who've done these things that men do, and that women just stop. It's okay. There should be better men out there. And just look up the story of Rahab. Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. John 8:32, ye shall know the truth, and the truth will make you free, and the truth is the Lord Jesus Christ. He wants to make you a queen. He wants to make your little girl a princess, and he wants to make her a queen, and he wants to have a king, and he wants to give them a house and their own kingdom and their own legacy. That's what God wants for you and your children.